View, y'all. Welcome to The View. Welcome to The View. Welcome to The View, y'all. Hey. Well. Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
Welcome back. Welcome back. How's the baby?
Thank you. The baby is great.
How's everything going?
The breastfeeding?
The breastfeeding?
Well, it was funny. I was talking about it the other day, and one of the producers here said, would you ever, be open to discussing this topic on the air? I went home and asked my husband, because it's a hot-button topic for us, and we got in a 2-hour fight, and he was okay with me talking about it, but he said, I just want you to represent me well.
Right.
And accurately.
Yes.
He's a lawyer.
Yes. Yes.
And some of the terms he used, right out of the gates, he said, okay, I don't mean this the wrong way. You're going to offend me. That's pretty much what happened. He said, but we were talking about if I should keep breastfeeding. And he said, you were given boobs for this reason. Ooh. And I said, going to use that. Definitely going to use that. And that's how the conversation started. Sorry, I'm kicking you. But
and then the 2-hour fight ensued after that?
2-hour fight ensued because we danced. This is a very highly emotional topic for me because, of course, everyone wants to, I think everyone wants to breastfeed. We know the benefits are great for the baby. That's never been an argument. The toll it takes on doing that and what goes into it and how lonely it is and how hard it is, he never understands. He never gets it. So we dance, and the second we start talking about this, he starts to say things about, only you can do this.
Well, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
That's, everybody should breastfeed if they want to. But if you're ready to stop, if we go from the everybody, you have boobs for a reason, you also have boobs.
Man boobs.
Men have boobs as well. So it can't just be about that. Sometimes when you're done, and no one should pressure you to continue if your body is saying, and you're saying to yourself, I think I'm ready to stop.
His supportive language is, well, if that's what you need to do, I support you. But to me, that isn't a partner saying to me, like, I really wanted to make this work. I really want to keep going, but I'm struggling because as a woman, you do feel like this is my role. So if you have to quit, like you already have enough guilt or you feel a lot of things. So to have your partner be like, I'll support you with whatever you do. Like that puts a lot of onus on me.
Have you told him, though, that you feel that way? Like the words that you're saying don't make me feel supportive just by you saying I'm being supportive?
Because we recently watched Everest, so I started to use an analogy that it was like climbing Mount Everest. The oxygen is getting thin, I'm dying, I'm losing parts of my body. He said, that's extreme. I was like, not your boobs, so not your analogy. He went on to say it was like a coach in a game, and I said, when was the last time the coach left the game to go to the computer while people were playing on the court, a.k.a. the couch? That's not much of a coach.
I know Max, Sarah, and I think a lot of, and I love Max, I know that he loves you. I think a lot of men during this time feel helpless when they're not able to contribute. And so, in some sense,
make it worse.
No,
so they,
they
step in it.
But they step in it. They don't necessarily mean to. I mean, my husband was a coach, and sometimes he treats me like I'm one of his players. I'm like, that's not how I'm motivated, but that's how he is, and that might be how Max is motivated. And I think you just have to remember, like, he loves you so much.
He means well.
He does
mean really well. And I feel like when you're, because we are emotional and more emotional, that we tend to feel disappointed in ourselves. Like, I didn't achieve this goal. And it's okay. It's whatever works for you and your body and your baby. And know that with different babies, I'm like, it can change too.
Right.
I have a very similar situation, but I think at the end of the day, you have to resign to feeling comfortable and confident in your decision, whether or not Max totally agrees with it, because you're the only one that can do it.
Yeah. Well, I had a therapist tell me, because I took this to a professional, and they said, you need to stop trying to be a perfect breastfeeder. Like, do what you can, love your child, that's all you need to do. And I came home and really wanted to tell Max that a professional told me this. Shared the story the next day. I start doing the math on how many ounces I'm getting pumping, and I don't think I'm gonna have enough. And Max turns to me, he's like, well, could you just like pump a little more today? And I looked at him and I was like, you don't hear yourself, do you? Like that is some of the problem.
But because again, we have this idea in this country that there's sometimes only one way to do things. And we forget that not everybody can do it the full time. Not everybody can do it at all.
Right.
But the pressure that is put on women and this, the baby's going to be like this if you don't do it. For some babies that may be so. But your baby is your baby and this is your call. this is your call. And Max, you're going to have to let her make this decision, because only she knows. That you talk about only she can do it, only she knows what she needs. And if she's telling you she needs to make this change, you got to get in there and trust that she has figured out what she needs to do.
It's hard for, I'm sure he feels helpless because it's your call, but it's also your baby
I worry
together.
that if he was doing it, that's another thing that makes me a little sad, is I think he would pull through for the team.
You know what? You don't know that, and don't put that in your head. Listen, raising a child is a team effort. Yeah. Breastfeeding is yours.
Yeah.
So it's your decision. And, you know, Max is a great guy.
He is a great guy.
He has no idea what goes into this. He's assuming, as many people do, that this is what you do. Yeah. But you have to say, actually, baby, I did as much as I could do. Mm-hmm. And now I have to stop, because if I don't, it's not going to be good for the baby, and it's not good for me.
I'm not my best self when I'm, especially
like
the fatigue, the exhaustion, and at one point I said, it's like you're letting me go in honor of this idea you have.
And you're
that's
a first-time mom. Yeah. It's overwhelming. It's brand new. You don't know what to think, what to do, what's right, what's wrong, and so everything feels bigger in the moment than it may be if you were more comfortable. And if you have other children or want to, then it might be easier the second time or third time or whatever that is, but it's okay.
It may not happen at all. Don't be afraid. Go ahead.
When it comes to pregnancy, I feel like guys struggle because in many cases they want to help, but they can't relate to what your body's going through. You know, men have a different anatomy. They can't, you know, people used to ask me why I went to a female gynecologist, and I said, it sounds stupid, but she has my body. She understands if I explain that something's going on, she can look back into her own life and say, okay, I can feel your pain in a way, and have empathy in a way that maybe a guy can't, because he just doesn't, no matter how much you explain it to him or how beautifully you explain it to him, he can't feel those feelings of having a baby live inside of him.
I don't use my best words in this conversation, so maybe I'm not eloquent in my explanation.
That's the challenge, I think, to try to get someone to have a compassion for an experience that they themselves couldn't have.
I'm willing to put Max on the pump if he'd like to try it out. That's an offer, baby.
You think he would try it?
No. But I mean, that itself is like,
it's a full-time
these
job.
are done working.
Well, you know, sometimes and only you will know that.
Yeah.
You know, but the real message is, you know, everybody wants you to do it the way they think you should be doing it, and really this is the two of you's baby, but that's your body, and you can only do what you can do. And again, if you're not somebody who can breastfeed, do not beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. There are lots of ways to service and feed your baby and take care. It's all about the love and what you're putting in. It's not about your breasts. It's about you and your relationship to your baby. What? Okay. I've just started lactating, so we'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
Kissing controversy. The celeb getting backlash for kissing her kid on the lips. Is it cute or creepy?
Before we start talking about politics, I just want to point out that we have an entire section of folks from Mississippi here today. They just, you know, because during the breaks we hear lots of different stuff. So we were hearing, you know, where are we at the View? Where are we at with the View? Who are we, Mississippi? Okay, well, we should give them a little props. Yeah, Mississippi. Megyn Kelly and D.L. Hughley got into it a bit last night on Fox News when D.L. slammed the way the network deals with racial issues in America. Take a look. Is he bringing up a valid point because it's a talk show, an opinion show, or was he out of line? Throw it to the table.
I mean, Fox News in the house here, full disclosure.
Half Fox News.
Half Fox News.
Half
Fox News,
okay.
half ABC. But, you know, I don't think that was fair, that comment, only because, you know, I've hosted a bunch of shows there. We talk about issues of race all the time. I mean, I'm on with Juan Williams all the time. These are serious issues that we delve into. So it felt like he was labeling the whole network as not willing to accept the fact that racism is something that exists in this country. And that's something that I say on air all the time, we talk about all the time. I think the issue is that what Megyn was getting at is don't rush as media people to inject racism or racial tension before we hear the whole story. Because whether we like it or not, we oftentimes shape the narrative. When you have stories coming out where you have white on black crime, or before we figure out what actually happened, a lot of people in media jump to conclusions, or we surmise, or we guess, and it shapes the narrative of how the public hears that. And it's really hard then when facts emerge to go back and say, oh, wait a minute, maybe in this particular case, this wasn't about racism.
Are you saying Fox does that on a regular basis?
No,
it's hard not to when you see, and that's why everybody wants cameras on everything.
Yes, I agree with that policy, by the way.
So when you see something as horrendous as what we saw on Monday play out with the young lady that Diamond was here, where the officer has shot her boyfriend, it's kind of hard not to see what that was. Now, maybe he was nervous, maybe the cop was nervous, but what you see is what you see. And when you look at Eric Gardner, what you see is what you see. And what shapes the narrative oftentimes is a disregard for the fact that we do have a racial issue. We do have an issue between how police are sometimes and how people of color are sometimes, and that's the discussion we don't have. And it's the shape of this particular narrative, I think, is not helped oftentimes because when it comes to race, we don't want to hear it. That's what I've seen.
I think you're right about that. I think that's a discussion. There's an issue in this country with law enforcement and community that needs to be addressed. But when these instances, like you remember the hands up, don't shoot narrative, hands up, don't shoot. People were chanting that in the streets for weeks. And then the Justice Department comes out and does a full investigation and says, hold up, that didn't hold true. That actually didn't happen. And a lot of people, I think, ran with that. So all I say is, look, before we jump to a conclusion, let's find out what happened. And if there is a racial problem, if there is racial tension, or if there is a crime committed because of race, let's call it out and condemn it. But let's first make sure that's what happened.
Well, okay.
Well, one thing is, I see what you're saying, Jedediah, when you talk about some of these stories and the idea that there are broader issues like when and where police officers, law enforcement agents should use deadly force. I totally understand there are a lot of issues in that. I think the hard part is right now with this particular movement in Black Lives Matter, the blaring punch in the face back at that movement is that, oh, well, it just doesn't exist. It's the silence factor. It's the looking past it. And so one thing I've noticed is I see what you're saying, because I do think media is a little guiltier of creating the narrative, because when you look at what's reported, we won't see necessarily the same story when it's a white cop and a white victim. So I do think the narrative is being shaped by media, but I think it's a hard message to say right now in the current climate, because the biggest opponent or the worst thing you can say to someone that's out there speaking for Black Lives Matter is, well, it doesn't exist.
I agree with
so
that.
that's like the worst.
And the New York Times just did a poll, and according to them, the race relations right now are the worst that they've been since the LA riots, according to 70% of the people that they polled. So this is going on. I think, at the end of the day, we've lost our ability to empathize as a nation. We were just talking about this with your situation with Max, and when somebody says to you, you shouldn't feel that way, or if you say, Sarah, if you would say to Max, listen, I feel this way, he said, well, you shouldn't feel that way. You don't have any reason to. I hate it when people tell me, don't feel a certain, I feel this. And I think if we could just really channel that empathy, I feel like we've lost that as a nation. Just because I don't feel it doesn't mean you don't feel it. Yes, just because I don't experience it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Why can't we channel that?
A little compassion and empathy would go a long way.
Not even just that, but, if 100 people are telling you there's a problem. See, the New York Times just did that, but we've been saying this for years. Richard Pryor in '74 said it. This is not a new conversation. And you know, Black Lives Matter, as I pointed out when we did this amazing show the other day, is filled with lots of different colors. Lots of different color people are saying there's an issue, there's an issue. And sometimes I think that Fox tends to forget that these are real people. These people who are, they have families that,
I agree with you. And I love Fox News. I watch Fox News. I'm a Fox News supporter. But I agree with you. I don't feel like they are inclusive of all minority groups as much as they should be, because conservatives aren't just white, rich men or women. We're not all white. We are Black. We are Latino. We are members of LGBTQ. They're more than just white people in conservatives. And Fox, I don't feel, always represents that point of view. And so I enjoyed the conversation. Yeah. I thought Megyn Kelly was great, but I really appreciated everything that DL said as well.
I think all media outlets, though, are guilty at the end of the day of sensationalizing to an extent too. I think we're all guilty.
Well, we're not going to do that right now. We're going to try to sell you some stuff. Okay? So we're going to go, because we'd like to get paid at the end of the week. You know, we'll be right back.
Selfie side effects. The gross health hazard of snapping a selfie that'll make your skin crawl.
Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg says she regrets her statements criticizing Donald Trump, saying they were ill-advised and saying that judges should avoid commenting on a candidate for public office. So she apologized. You think he'll apologize for...
No way. No.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to say.
No. That's a shame. That's a shame.
What a great example, though. Politicians could learn something from her in this. And look, I'm glad she apologized, because I felt that she was injecting herself into a political campaign. But how often, it's so hard for us to get a politician to just say, you know what, I made a mistake, I'm sorry.
Dig deeper and deeper.
Just to be human for a second, because everybody's going to make a mistake. And sometimes people do things in the moment, and then they sit back and say, you know what, maybe that wasn't the best decision because of X, Y, and Z. So good for her for having the courage to at least come out and say, this wasn't right.
And so quickly, on the heels of this, I think there was so many people talking about it, that the fact that she came straight out, didn't try to defend it, didn't do anything, that's respectable. It's
absolutely.
Well, that's the kind of woman she is. That's why I like her as a Supreme Court justice. And she doesn't always vote for stuff I wanted to vote for, but I believe she's fair and balanced. I love her. Now, Trump is also claiming, he's also claiming that people are having moments of silence to honor the Dallas shooter. Now, he seems to be the only person who has seen or heard about this. There was maybe one guy.
There was one guy.
One email somewhere who said, yeah, that's how I feel. One guy. This is kind of like the rooftop celebrations that he saw millions and millions of Muslims.
Have you been working on that?
No. It just comes naturally. But, you know, he likes to call out people who lie and people who...
We call that embellishing.
No, we call it lying.
It's embellishing. It's embellishing. Well, in this instance...
See, it's exactly what he accuses Hillary of doing. A lie is a lie is a lie. That's a lie, Donald. You lied twice. Well, more than that. But those two, nobody is everyone in this nation, their hearts are breaking for the families of these shooters. You can find one or two insane people, like you found with Mr. Root, who went into a church and shot it up. There are all those people out there, sure. But no one in the general population is saying, have a moment of silence. Don't do that. This is too volatile a time, man. Quit stirring the pot.
It's very irresponsible. Considering his followers, a lot of what he feeds is kind of rage and anger, and it fuels and it snowballs. To put that in there as a misspeak, it's not a fact, it didn't happen, that is so dangerous, because many of the people that are supporting him want to hear it. They're angry and they want to keep being angry. And like you said, the climate of the times is we all need to take a step back, because it's getting dangerous. And I think for him to speak with the platform he has, it's so irresponsible.
ABC News did confirm that there was one person. There's one person.
That's not a whole bunch.
And in the context of how he used it, it is misleading and it's misinformation.
It makes it sound like he's trying to say that there's a whole group of people that support the police, and there's a whole group of people that support Black Lives Matter, and he wants wants that division. And you know why? Because that's what gets people elected. That's politics.
Well, you know, he keeps saying, you know, and in this climate, you know, it's a hot summer, and what would propel him into the presidency would be the riots he keeps trying to call for. So if you want to keep a level head and figure out who you want to vote for because you want to vote for them, don't listen to this. There is no reason for you to feel like, you know, Black Lives Matter is coming after everybody. Oh, my God. Because Black Lives Matter are so many different people. It is, you know, it's important to know. It's important to know. It's a terrible thing. So, you know, I think we should just, we'll just say take a step back.
Chill out.
A couple steps back.
Take a couple steps back. Oh, you want me to take a step back right now? Because you want me to sell some stuff. All right. You want your check?
What?
You want your check?
I'd like to be paid.
Okay. We'll be right back. Comedy writer Jesse Klein is calling for the ban of the word ma'am. God bless you. When referring to women, saying it's ageist, sexist term that needs to go. Get out, ma'am.
What?
They think that the word is ageist and sexist.
I think it's kind of a term of respect. I like it when my kids call people ma'am or miss or sir.
I like
and
miss.
This is
you like
different
miss?
from ma'am.
I know, but still, I like it when people say thank you, ma'am. I know my kid said thank you, sir, to a guy who was probably in his 20s. He's like, I'm not that old. I'm like, it's not has nothing to do with your age. I think it's just a term of
I like
respect.
in the South, they use miss and then your first name. I was a nanny, and I loved when they'd be like, thank you, Miss Sarah. I felt so vibrant and vital and young. So they can do that all they want.
Yeah,
ma'am is a little...
Yeah.
I like both.
Miss is like when they card you, like when I go to buy liquor and they card me, I'm all like, you know, like that's miss. Ma'am, somebody says ma'am to me and I go home and I buy $250 eye cream and I'm like, what did I do wrong today? So ma'am to me always feels, I don't know, I still kind of feel like a miss. Is that bad?
I appreciate the
Well, you
gesture.
are a miss because you're not married.
You're not married.
You
So
are
then
a miss.
it's like
That's why you're miss.
But then doesn't it go miss, like Miss, Mrs., what is all this? And why don't men have to think about this stuff?
They do. Men call them sir. We call men sir.
But sir's for everybody.
For young and old. It's sir no matter what.
Yeah, boy and sir.
Right.
Come here, boy.
I really like
Hello,
being,
sir.
I like being called ma'am
I do too.
because it's a sign of respect, and I have children as well, so it felt good to be called ma'am. But I have to say, what I don't like is being called sweetie, honey, sugar, especially by someone younger than me. That is so disrespectful to me.
That's more
If
degrading.
An 80-year-old person wants to call me sweetie, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
They kind of earned it. But not someone even closely around my age or younger than me. Please don't call
Well,
me
I also
honey.
find when someone doesn't know you, because I feel like I always appreciate the gesture of ma'am, but when you hear someone, and I know it's colloquial, so I know they don't mean it, but they'll say, oh, thanks, sweetie. It's funny, my ears perk up a little bit. It feels a little too personal oftentimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it. I don't let kids call me Miss Whoopi.
What do they call you?
Whoopi.
Oh.
When you have a name like this, you don't want to miss in front of it. You know what I mean? That's what it's for. It's meant for kids and everybody to call me the same thing.
I like that.
It's better. And, you know, because you guys are young, you don't remember that there was a time when that's how you referred to everyone, your elders.
By their first name?
No.
Oh.
Ma'am.
Okay.
You referred to your elders that way, people who were older than you. That was a sign of respect. And now you have Ms. and all these other things, but, you know, it's like, you know, yes, ma'am. When somebody was messing up and they, get your behind over here. Say, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is, you know. But in any case, what happened about the final 3 weeks?
Well, let me tell you, it is the final 3 weeks of the summer season of the View's Fantasy Movie League, and the competition is fierce. Okay, I'm super bummed because Joy knocked me out of the lead in the co-host competition, and topping the leaderboard this week is Ophelia's Plex. So get to the View's website and keep on playing, because the golden ticket winner gets a trip for 2 to New York to see The View, and the grand prize winner scores a trip for 2 to Hollywood for the premiere of Disney's Pierre. We will be right back.
Hey everybody, this is Leslie Jones, and I'm here to talk to the ladies about Ghostbusters, and they asked me if I was afraid of ghosts. Seriously?
32 years after the original became one of the most successful comedies of all time, Ghostbusters is back with a brand new all-female cast, and SNL's Leslie Jones is part of the team. Take a look. Leslie Jones. Woo! Now, we were just talking about if people like to be called Miss, Ma'am, Sweetie Pie, Honey Love. Do you want me to help you with that, Sweetie?
No, I'm good.
Okay. What do you like to be called?
I don't care what you call me as long as you call me. You know what I'm
So you're single.
saying? Yes, I am. No, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I get the sweetie thing. I could see how that would bother you, saying sweetie. I used to say that when I waited on tables, so you would have hated me, because I would, do you need anything, sweetie? You know, I used to do that. I don't like anybody to call me Mrs. Jones. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing, especially a man.
Yes.
If a man call me Mrs. Jones, it's like, really?
I hope you do exactly that.
I don't want that look.
That's not a good look. Now, I have to start by saying you are killing it in the glam department.
Thank you.
I think we have a couple pictures of you. Oh, did you kiss me?
Yeah.
This is you on the cover now. And we've also got you, oh wow, we've also got you from the red carpet at Ghostbusters.
Oh, my best ones.
You did make headlines recently for tweeting that
Yes.
designers were not going to help dress you.
Yes. It was out of frustration because we did have 2 black designers that were going to do something, and then they bowed out, and then we reached out. And this is like months ago because I knew that this was coming, so we were reaching out to everybody, and we just wasn't getting any response at all. Now, I wasn't thinking that it was because of my size and stuff. I just thought it was because didn't nobody know who I was. So I was like, oh, well, I guess, you know, I didn't think anything about my size. When they started bringing up the size, I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. Well, I thought it was just because I wasn't anybody. Like, you know, Donna Karen, nobody was reaching out to me, you know what I'm saying? So it was out of frustration. I picked the phone up and was like, oh, man, you know, designers are not, you know, messing with me right now. I mean, I don't understand that.
And then what happened?
And then Serrano hit me, and I was like, yeah! Serrano, sorry.
Unleash the fury.
Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. We had so much fun designing that dress, and I went in with a whole different idea. I wanted to do flowy, and you know, and he was like, no, you got a body. We finna show this body. You know, we're gonna get a split. Because I wanted to go old Hollywood. You know, old Hollywood. You know, those women had curves. You know, Marilyn had curves.
This is
you know?
old Hollywood, baby.
Yeah.
This is a Maryland dress.
It's very nice.
Yes, it is. Look at it. Look at you.
I clean up nice.
Now, I know that you are a big fan of Whoopi's,
Oh
and
my
she
gosh.
really inspired
Okay.
you when you were coming up as a comic. Tell us.
Okay. I'm gonna do this without trying to get emotional.
We're here for you.
Yeah.
Okay, when I was young, my dad always let me listen to comedy albums, and I always knew about comedy. I always loved comedy. The day that I saw Whoopi Goldberg on television, after school, and a great story, I went to college, and I was in a communications class, and they told us to get a speech ready. I didn't get it ready, and I just put my sweatshirt on my head and went up to the front, and I was like, I want white girl hair. And did that for 3 minutes, and she was like, you never have to come to this class again. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because now I know what I'm doing. That when I put on that Ghostbusters suit and little girls see me on TV now, now they're going to go, I can do it.
Yeah.
And you gave that. You gave gave that to me, and I love you. I love you from my heart and my soul, and I love you for what you've done for black women. I love you for what you've done for black comedians, and I love you. So, there it is.
That's amazing.
Ask for alcohol in this.
We can't forget give it to you.
About this, the reason you're here right now.
Yes.
This is a reboot of the 1984 classic Ghostbusters
Yes.
with Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. Were you a fan of that movie, and what was it like when they started showing up to make cameos in the movie?
Okay, first, that movie came out in 84, right?
Were you born yet?
No, yes, I was, baby.
Okay.
I'm 48.
Stop it. That's a
I'm
compliment.
48, darling. Yes, 48. Yes.
That's what they mean when they say it don't crack.
It don't crack. Yes.
We were only as lucky.
We're a new generation. We're a new generation. This is a generation that drank water. I never saw my mama drink water, ever. We drink water. We work out. We do facials. We take care of ourselves. This is the new age of the new age. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want to make sure we get in about the movie. So
Okay. Sorry. Yes. It came out in 1984, and I was in high school. I was in love with this guy named Fisherman Creeper, and I remember watching Ghostbusters and thinking Sigourney Weaver is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and Fisherman Creeper would love her. If I looked like her, I could get Fisherman Creeper.
See? Now, if Fisherman Creeper looked like somebody else, he can get you now, but he can't.
That is true, huh? Good point.
But
Good point.
you are single and ready to mingle, we should
Yes,
point out.
and ready to mingle. Please pointing it out on a morning show. No, but when everybody started showing up, it was crazy. Bill Murray is a beast. He came in there, and it was just so good. I mean, me and Kate was standing on the back. We forgot we was in the scene. We were like sitting there going, oh, we got lines, because he was so awesome. Sigourney Weaver was awesome. Dan Aykroyd, oh my God, Dan Aykroyd, every time he sees me, he hugs me and he kisses me and he goes, you are awesome. Ernie Hudson.
Okay, I don't want to cut you. No, we'll keep going in commercial. We're going to get the juice. Okay, our huge thanks to you, Leslie Jones, for being here. Ghostbusters opens in theaters and IMAX tomorrow, and the brand new soundtrack to the film is also out tomorrow. And everyone in the audience is going home with the CD. Yay! So we'll be right back.
There's a live streaming thing happening after the show. You can see it on Facebook, so get there to post your questions and comments, and these lovely ladies will have the conversation and hang out. Thank you guys for coming, and thanks to our audience at home for celebrating us and keeping us working and liking what we do. Please have a great day and take a little time to enjoy the view.